In the late 1600s, Scotland placed an enormous bet on becoming a global trading powerhouse. The plan? To carve out a colony on the Isthmus of Panama and dominate the trade route between the Atlantic and Pacific. It was bold, ambitious, and it would nearly bankrupt an entire nation. Scotland poured around 20% of its national wealth into this single venture. The country rallied behind it, with citizens from all walks of life investing their savings, hopes, and dreams. It wasn't just a colony. It was Scotland's shot at economic independence and international prestige. 5 ships left the Scottish port of Leith in 1698, carrying about 1,200 settlers. They arrived in the sweltering jungles of Central America and established a colony called New Edinburgh. To defend it, they built Fort St. Andrew and dreamed of becoming the next Venice of the New World. But those dreams were crushed almost immediately. The land was unforgiving, the climate brutal, and the settlers had no idea how to survive in the tropics. Food became scarce, disease ran rampant, and soon bodies began piling up. Malaria, dysentery, and starvation took hold. This wasn't paradise. It was hell. Even worse, help was nowhere in sight. English colonies nearby were under strict orders not to assist the Scots, thanks to political rivalries. Spain, which claimed the region, viewed the colony as an invasion and prepared for war. The settlers were trapped, isolated, sick, and under siege. After just a few months, the colony collapsed. Survivors fled back to Scotland, weak and heartbroken. But here's the twist. Another fleet had already been sent. Unaware of the disaster, they arrived at the ghost town that was once New Edinburgh, only to fall into the same deadly spiral. By the end, nearly every ship, coin, and life invested in the venture was gone. Scotland had been shattered financially and emotionally. Families were ruined, trust was broken, and an entire nation's pride was left floating in the Caribbean. This disaster didn't just wreck Scotland's economy, it shifted the course of history. With their dreams in tatters and their coffers empty, Scottish leaders began to see union with England not as betrayal, but as survival. Less than a decade later, the Acts of Union were signed in 1707, uniting the two nations. Many historians believe the Darien scheme was one of the key reasons the United Kingdom even exists. Without that disastrous attempt to build an empire, Scotland might have remained independent, and the map of the world could look very different today. The ghosts of Darien still haunt Scottish memory. The scheme has become a symbol of overreaching ambition, of what happens when dreams collide with reality. It serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of going all in on one grand idea without truly understanding the stakes. Even now, remnants of this failed colony remain buried in the jungles of Panama. The fortifications, the graves, the ruins, they're all still there. Silent witnesses to one of the greatest financial collapses and national heartbreaks in European history. So when people talk about risky investments or failed ventures, few can top what Scotland endured. It wasn't just money lost. It was a nation's identity, dignity, and future. All for a dream that vanished in the mist of a mosquito-infested jungle.